Hello everyone, it is Carrie Bruce, the Teen Associate, Miss Carrie to the teens out there, and I'm going to be doing some origami flowers for you today. Oh, that's kind of dark. Hang on. I'm going to double check that we're looking okay on my other computer screen. Once again, thanks for your patience as I double check that everything looks good. Okay, perfect. We are in landscape exactly where we need to be. All right, everyone. Thanks so much for joining us. So today we're going to be making origami lotuses. And we're going to start with a very basic, easy fold. And all you need is some square paper. You do not need the pennies. That's actually a personal craft project I made. So you don't need that at all. And if you're saying, Miss Carrie, what if I don't have any square origami paper? Well, that's okay. You can actually make paper perfectly fine out of ordinary notebook paper, and they turn out very nice. This is going to be the second creation we're going to make. It's a lotus box instead of just our regular lotus. So what you can do, how to make a square quick for those who don't know the trick. Let's say you got a notebook, I got a small one. All you have to do is fold just to the end of the notebook, get along the spirals. That's way it's easy to trim off the fringe. Make sure your fold is straight, and then mark that line where the paper meets where the fold meets the notebook paper. Just mark that with any old pen, and that's going to be your square. So you can go ahead, tear it out, and just cut along that line. Mine's gonna be quick for live reasons, of course. And that can easily be your square. You can fold it back and cut the fringe off following the edge of your paper. And then that's your square piece of paper for today. And if you have origami paper, you're already all set with your square, but you don't necessarily need it. It doesn't matter if it's one-sided or two-sided. So we can go on ahead. If you have it just one-sided like mine, the white is gonna show, but I really like that for high contrast. The story of the pennies, well, maybe I'll tell you while we're folding. If at any point you need me to go slower, or if you have questions, make sure you just pop in a question. I'm watching on 2 screens, so go ahead and let me know. All right, so we're going to begin with this very, very easy open lotus one. So if you've ever made those fortune tellers as a kid that you pinch open, pinch close, we called them cootie catchers back in my day. But whatever they were called for you, it's very similar to that. So origami is called the art of folding paper, but I'm pretty sure it's also the art of unfolding paper. So there's gonna be a lot of that. But we're gonna start very simple. Just fold your paper in half. And the trick to folding your paper in a nice fold where it's very even, check your corners, and then put your fingernail right up against the paper. It's hard for me because I'm trying to show you. But if you're right there and don't have to show an audience, then you can put your fingernail right up across the paper's edge, and that's how you're gonna know it's gonna be a very clean, precise fold. But if it's not, that's okay, because this is just your first try, so you don't have to worry. So we made our first fold along there. We're gonna open it back up, okay? And we're gonna do the same fold the other way of the paper. So you're making like a plus sign in the paper with your folds. So you can fold it again. Another trick is to line up your corners, and if your corners are lined up, that means it's going to be a nice straight fold. Then we're going to open up it again. Now we're going to turn our square to a diamond, and we're going to fold the bottom corner to the top. Real easy. And this one's easier because you just have to line up one pair of corners. So you can just take it. It's kind of easier if you have a blank side, I feel, because you just get rid of the white. And then fold it nice and crisp to your edges. And you guessed it, we're going to open it up. And now we can do it again. We're going to take our diamond and we're going to fold it across this time. All right, just the same fold, different edges. So we're folding our diamond in half from right to left. Line up your corners here. Do a nice crisp across fold. Okay, everyone with me? Hi, Amy. Nice to see you too. Okay, so here's where we start actually making the folds. All right, so we are gonna bring our first corner. Let's say it's the right one. I hope that's also right for you. That would be embarrassing. We're gonna bring in our right corner and we're gonna fold right to our center point where all our lines meet. We're gonna fold right to there. Just make sure you line it up. It's nice to hold the end and then we can just fold. And that'll line up with our folds that we've already made. That's how you know where your corner is supposed to be. And this is fun because you know what we're gonna do? We're gonna do it again. Let's do the bottom one this time. And we're folding to our corner, lining it up. If you can, try to line it up to the same edge as our first one. So then it looks like a nice straight paper edge in the middle, just made of two parts. I find it a lot easier to fold one and then two rather than trying to fold them together like a paper airplane, because that often just bends the corner too much and makes it floppy and sad. So I like doing it one at a time. Let's take our left one, bring it into the center first, then hold it in the middle if you can, and then flatten out. It's okay if there are gaps in your corners, if there's like white pieces or if it's not in the very center, it's still gonna work. The main thing you have to look out for is if the folds cover up each other, because then it can get a little bendy later in the project. All right, we're gonna take our top and fold it on down. And look at that. All the white space disappears. That's beautiful. Let me make sure everyone's working. All right, very good. Shout out to Julia here supporting me. Thank you. All right, let's see. Now we are gonna do the same thing, but again. So we're gonna be doing the same folds, but with our smaller square now. So let's take the top and you can still kind of see your folds now. So we're gonna fold into the middle. And it's actually easier than you feel because the paper already knows from the folds that we made how to do it. So we're folding it. Oh, someone from Michigan's watching. That's awesome. Hello. We are going cross state bounds. Now we're going to do the right. Same thing. Bring it into the center and then get your corners. See, even I mess up sometimes and overfold the corner. Sometimes you just got to back up. And that's not a big deal. There's the Japanese saying of wabi-sabi, and that means kind of embracing imperfections. And I love that because that means you don't have to try so hard to be perfect. Let me watch our comments. All right, let's take our next one. I think I moved our fold, so we would be on the left. We can fold on into our center. Don't let the paper be the boss. You're the boss of the paper. That goes for teens who have to write English papers as well. You're the boss. All right, it looks like a cute little envelope, and we're going to shut it. All right. Beautiful. Everyone with me? Hello, Dorothy. Yes, you're our Michigan friend, of course. All right. So I find it easier just to make it a diamond for purposes, but guess what, everyone? We're just going to do the same thing again. We're just going to keep on folding in. So we can go in from our top. This is where it gets a little harder if you're working with your paper because the paper is thicker now and it's harder to bend, but don't worry. It's gonna pay off. You see, you get a little smidgen there. That's okay. Just press it out. Crease it nice and smooth. Oh, Pam's here. Hi, Pam. And then we're gonna fold in the right side. Make sure, sometimes it's easier for me to just put the one I'm working on top, just to see it better. I guess I'm just better at folding that way. Especially since I'm kind of from a corner myself here. Perfect. Julia's following along great. I'm glad some people are still following. All right. Third fold in. You see, mine's starting to rebel. That's okay. And sometimes, like, it's okay. I know with, let's see, with one of the papers, this one has a gap between the folds, and it's still beautiful. That's the Wabi Sabi. It's still great. Sometimes you just have to press out that corner. Bring it closer to you, away from the table. That can help too. But sometimes it's just, that's just where the fold wants to be. Or you can go on to a new fold. Let's try this fold and see if that one is better. That one's a little better. Sometimes you just have to unfold to make a better fold. Let's see, I think I was over folding on this side. So now that corner might be happier. Maybe not. But that's okay. Then you can just press it in. Get your edges. All right. So you should have a new teensy tiny square now. Everyone with me? All right, so now's the fun part. So we're gonna leave these. There's two ways to do the outer corners. That's what these will become. So we're gonna leave them open. We're just gonna open them up. This is the art of unfolding right here. All right, but now our next folds, we are going to take our little, like, what's the word? Whenever you're alive, you forget words. But we're going to take our little arrow, basically, little meat of paper, and we're going to fold it out towards where it meets the paper's edge. Can you see that past my fingers? So we're going to fold it out like that. And we're going to do the same thing to the other one. So we're making kind of a diamond within our square right now. Just by folding out and making the tips of our inner square meet the edges. And if you look closely, your fold's still there. So you know just where those edges are supposed to go. then the bottom one. Lisa's here. Shout out to Lisa. All right. And so now you should have something that looks like this. It's coming a little more 3D. Everyone with me? No more questions? All right, and now we're going to do the same thing with our most inner folds. And we are going to fold them to the corners where these already folded out petals, we can call them now. We're going to fold them out to where those meet. And this gets tricky. I have sometimes used chopsticks to help me do small folds. And sometimes it's not perfect. It's not exactly where the corners line up, but that's okay. We are live and my cat is meowing, but that's also okay. That's wabi-sabi cat life for you. All right. And then our final one is right there. All right. So then make sure your inner petals pop out. Then adjust these petals and they're 3D. Everyone with me so far? Perfect. Good. We got at least one with Julia. Now these outer fold, the most outer petals, they can either also be bent or you can try to curl them. And so if you find like a small pen or a pencil, you can wrap it around the pencil. I like using the edge of a pen to sometimes help me. And it just curls it and adds a little more dimension. And just another way your petal could move. If you have a slimmer pen too, that would be wonderful. Oh, I did say we only needed paper. But so you could curl your petals, curl them tight. Sometimes you can just make the curl yourself. Or otherwise you can fold them. And how I do that, I would go to the back and fold them. And fold them just to the, you can kind of see the edge of this line where we folded. I'll fold them back to there. Make your lines line up. And then fold it back. Like that. So 2 ways to do it, depending on what you're feeling. Most important thing is don't crush your middle petals. So that's kind of level 1 lotus. And what would be fun to put in here, you could put little photos in here if you want. I put little pennies. This wasn't a crafty anniversary gift to my fiance. And there's a penny from each year we've been together. 2010 is our first year, and it's actually this one. So here's my penny from 2010. You can tell it's kind of beat up, but that's our first one. And that way we can just keep adding each year to it. So that's kind of fun. All right, so now on to level 2, which is creating our lotus box. And it's very similar to ours, to the open lotus that we just made. So if you get another square piece of paper, we're going to kind of do a similar thing when we start out. So we're going to be doing our cross body diamond and square folds. So let's start this time with the diamonds because they're easier. So bring your bottom edge of the paper to your top corner. Ooh. This one's a little more difficult because there's white on this side. So I can't cheat. Do a nice fold. And if you mess up one side, just go in there Get your nice point. Refold. There we go. And then the other way. Let's bring left to right. Line up your corners. Use your fingernail if you have to. Make sure you crease your edges for nice, clear folding guidelines. All right, let's get back to our square. And then fold it over. Oh, Pat is here. Hello, Pat. Shout out to my relatives supporting me here today. All right, and then we're going to take bottom edge down to complete what I call our crossbody folds. I know there are definitely pretty folding names. Like there's mountain fold and valley fold, but I don't know those. So I make up my own. All right, so just like our open lotus, we are going to fold in. So we can take our bottom. I'll make it a diamond for easier names. Take our bottom, come to that point in the center, and then fold and match up with the folding lines you just made. Take your right, make sure you don't overfold your edges. Try to make the corner pretty so you don't have gaps later. Third one in. Catherine's here. Hello, Catherine. Welcome. All right, we're going to take our final fold in, and we just line up to the center one more time. So we have our nice closed square now. Let's make sure our edges are okay. All right. And guess what we're going to do? We're going to do the same thing a second time. Oh my goodness. All right. So we are going to fold our top down and re-meet in the center once again. See, just like our open lotus. You've already done level 1 and you can complete level 2. Bring in your side fold. Refold it tighter if you need to. And you know, when you first do a trial of origami, a new project, it never looks good the first time. That's okay. You can just practice it if you like it, if you enjoy this build, or if you find another origami build you really like. After this, I will link another project from Creative Bug, which you can get for free using your Manitowoc Public Library card. They have a bunch of fun tutorials about all different crafts. So then we have our second round of folds. Any questions yet? We're doing good. All right, so here is where we do something different, all right? Brand new. We're gonna do something called turning the paper over. I know. It's innovative. It's crazy. But that's what we're going to do. And now this is where we make our folds again. Instead of on the first side, we do our third set of folds on the back side. So just fold your corners down. This is where the paper gets angry. Where it's thick and harder to bend. But just ease it down. Sometimes pick it up. Mess with it, line up your corners. All right. And we have our teensy tiny square. Okay, and now what we're gonna do is open it up. So all that hard work you just did, trying to fold it, don't worry about it, just open it. All right, now what's gonna be different is we're gonna fold outwards, all right? So what we're gonna do is probably take to just like 1/4 of an inch or a little less. It's about almost to the edge of the paper, but just leaving like a smidgen, like a pinky fingernail's worth. So just about the petals if you did our square open folds, it's about the length of those. That's how far you want to open it. We're going to do that with each petal. And the way you make sure that they're all the same length is following the edge created by the first one. So fold it out. Make it straight across. So they'll all be the same. Thank you for the compliment, Pat. Fold number 3, opening up our petals. And finally, the last fold. Remember to use your surrounding petals as guidelines, so they all are the same length. So it looks kind of similar to our open lotus. All right, so now, remember what we did before, our big change? We're gonna do that again. We're gonna turn it upside down. And we kind of have like a 8-pointed star going on with seeing our petals through the backside. Now here's the more complicated bit. This is really where the level 2 part comes in. We're going to be taking these folds that already have our petals attached, and that is what we're folding to the middle. So you see our back petals are going to come wrap around. So I don't know if I had this in frame, but this is the one we're doing. So this is how we get the 3D element. All right. Got any questions? Thank you, Emily. Thanks, everyone, being so nice. All right. So we are folding in. And remember, the paper already knows where to go because of our great folding, our good, strong creases. Fold it in. Make sure you're holding the center, because what it's going to do, like any flower wants to do, it's going to want to bloom. So you got to hold it in place for now. Right? So let's keep bending. And sometimes the real way to make sure that you bring your paper in nice and not get the crooked ones, you can kind of help your paper by just putting a thumb in where a new petal, 3D petal, is being created, and flatten out the paper. And sometimes it wants to like sort of be flat and then follow the 3D fold up. And that'll help, because that'll press our center down. And then we'll make a final fold. It gets a little harder, but it will make a little more sense once they're all nice and folded. We're going to press our inner part down, make a nice stable base, kind of press in our flower petals. They're a little rounder, nearly there. That's our goal. All right, so now the real tricky part is we're gonna be opening these back folds, but it's very easy to tear. because you're going to pull slightly on them, but don't do it yet. What you want to do just is kind of let your flower open and close as you kind of roll the back fold open. And once you get it to a nice, comfortable point for the paper, you can pull slightly just from the center, just very, very faintly pull it. And that's going to help these outer flowers wrap around and be more centered and press more weight into the middle, so then it helps it stay in its box. And you see, I just messed with it, did a little too much, and it tore just slightly. And that's okay. A tear is not going to break you. See, I tore that one, but that's okay. If you tear, don't worry. That's fine. Many flowers in nature are torn. So we're just emulating life in art. So be very gentle, fold it over, and then start pulling just from the middle, and it'll give just a little more give. And kind of wants to wrap around, kind of wants to, oh, that one's folding in. You see, well, that one wants to bloom now. That's what I get for messing with flowers. They're never the same if you mess with them. All right, here's another one. Just fold it out. And kind of just light pressure to pull from the center. Don't pull from your sides, because that's instantly going to tear it. And then you can press a little on your 3D flower bits, kind of bring them forward so they curve kind of more inward. And then we're coming to our last one. See, it's already staying a little better. Final one, get a nice fold from the outside. And then kind of just pull gently, a little bit of pressure. Whoop, see, did a little tear. And I know that's enough for that one. So then we have our little box. Of course, when we just made it, you kind of want to smush it. Just bend it along where our X is in the flower, and that just helps it going to be closed, a nice stable box. Press in the 3D flowers. And sometimes you just maybe like want to put something more weighted in here, like, you know, a lucky cat. Put a lucky cat in there just for a day, and it'll hold it and keep it steady and closed. Now these are really fun to put on your wall just for a little detail. I've been doing some lives, so if you've seen my book talks, like the one earlier today, I've had them in the background. I really like the pennies because they just sort of add a little shimmer to my background. Or you can put little magnets on the back for your fridge or your locker next year for my teens. Or you can make them into little photo frames. You can use them maybe as a jewelry stand for just like, you know, something really like something that needs more of a display. Or also for if you want to display something, just a little trinket on like a mantle or something, this just gives it a little extra edge. All right, everyone, that is my tutorial for our lotus flowers, level 1 and level 2, our open lotus and our box lotus. Anybody have any questions? Well, I'll be watching if you guys have any more questions, if you guys have ideas or suggestions for what we should make next, whether it's more origami or if you would like to see different kinds of crafts, leave a comment and that's how we'll know, and we'll do our best to accommodate them. Thank you all so much for watching. This is Carrie, the Teen Associate, signing off. This is the cat that represents me. Bye. Thanks for watching.